What is going on, guys? It is Danny Wright, and you're here listening to another episode of Paving the Way. Guys, happy Saturday morning to you. I hope your week has been good to you and all those that you love and care about. And if you're watching this, you can see that I am coming to you again from the truck. I might have to title these types of episodes Truck Talks or something because, to be honest, after I did the last one, I really enjoyed it. I'm somebody who I'm kind of one of those weird people that drive in silence a lot of times, or I'm on the phone, one or the other. But I spend a lot of time just thinking, brainstorming stuff, replaying scenarios, thinking about things, probably a lot of stuff that's unhealthy for an overthinker anyways. But nonetheless, some of my best ideas, I believe, come from when I'm in the truck or when I'm at the gym. So you're getting the best of both worlds right now because I just left the gym and I'm in my truck. So what I've got to talk about today, guys, is something that I've kind of discussed before. I've kind of touched on it a roundabout way, but this is a little bit more direct for you. All right. One of the biggest things that I fear in my life isn't the fear of death. It's not the fear of, going bankrupt. It's not the fear of failure or fear like that. The biggest fear that I probably have in my life is that to two things. It's a twofold fear. Okay. The first fear is going to be that when I die, whenever that time comes, I fear that the people that loved, knew, cared about me, supported me, everything like that, encouraged me, I fear that they're going to think, at my funeral, whatever that may be, I fear that they're going to think, man, he could have done more. If he would have just, pushed a little harder, if he would have just gave a little bit more, if he would have put a little bit more time in, if he would have thought a little bit more, loved a little harder, whatever it may be, I fear that may happen. The second part of that, as a Christian, I believe that there's a heaven and a hell, and I hope I'm doing my best to live a life that would get me into heaven. And I've heard this analogy before from Ed Milet, is one who really talks a lot about it. But basically, I fear that whenever the time comes that I die, I go to heaven and I get to meet God, meet Jesus, meet my Creator. I fear that He's going to introduce me to the man that I was designed to be, that he put all that effort into, like the tiny little details, the specs, everything like that. He put all that effort into making me someone I was supposed to be, and I wasn't that I didn't live up to be the man that he designed me to be. So, and guys, I'm not talking about this to get, pity. I don't want comments to say, oh, you're doing great, or don't think like that, whatever it is. These are things that push me. And that's why I want to share them with you, because my goal out of this whole show, this whole podcast, all these videos I put out, my goal is that someone somewhere can hear the things that I go through, hear the things that I use for motivation, hear the things that have resonated with me, and then take them, embody them in their own life, and use it to create the life that they want to live, right? And when I think about that, guys, it's hard because, I have conversations with people of all different walks of life. I've talked with people who are ultra millionaires, billionaires that can literally have, do, see, own whatever they want in their entire life. And I talk with people who are freaking homeless on the street in Charlotte. All right. So I talk to people all across the spectrum. So this isn't a bias of one type of a lifestyle or another. What it is, guys, whatever that you're setting out to do in your life, if that means that you want to be, say, for example, you love the restaurant industry, all right? You love managing and operating restaurants and serving food to clients and guests, overseeing, servers, wait staff, kitchen staff, so on and so forth, getting to take young people in and kind of mold them into, men and women of the world and just help them learn work ethic and things like that. You can love being a restaurant manager, all right? A restaurant manager probably isn't going to be somebody who's living, oceanfront in Laguna Beach somewhere one day, or has a high-rise condo in Miami, right? A restaurant manager is probably not going to have those material things, right? But if that restaurant manager is in a position where they love what they do, that they are passionate about what they do, they're dedicated to what they do, and they're genuinely fulfilled with what they do, that is going to radiate out to everybody around you, everybody in your life, everybody that you encounter. Okay. And that's going to create a persona for yourself that other people will admire. They'll want to do more of it. They'll want to get what you have. They'll want to find that happiness. I talked about joy and happiness. They'll want to find that happiness that you have, because if you're in that position and you're giving it everything you've got to be the best that you can be every day, to everybody who counts on you, you're going to have happiness. That is what you're doing. You are creating happiness in your life. It's circumstantial and you're putting the effort into it, right? If you go in to a job that you hate, that you just can't stand to do, or a job that you could do more, you could do better, but you're just going to do it half-assed, you're not going to have that happiness. You're going to be the person that gripes and complains about your job, that gripes and complains about your finances, your lifestyle, your marriage, your relationship, whatever it may be, because you're not giving it all. If you give it everything that you've got, if you put it all on the table, if you know that every day that you lay down and go to bed, if you know that you gave it your best, and some days your best, like, it's going to look different than others. I have days where I'm just mentally and emotionally defeated. And I know that the best that day isn't going to be the same as like the best on like today. I'm fired up today. I don't freaking know why I'm fired up, but I am. I'm heading into the office. I'm getting ready to go have meetings with the leadership team, which I love to do on a weekly basis. And I'm going to give them my best. Whatever my best is today, I'm going to give it to them. And then when I leave later to go to meetings and go do whatever the heck I'm doing the rest of the day, I'm going to know that I left it on the table. I left it on that conference table and I gave them the best that I had to give them. Because if I don't, I let them down. I sell them short. I do them a disservice. I do the people who believe in me to lead and run my organization, I do them all a disservice if I give them half-ass. Same thing goes in return. If they come into that room and give me half-ass, they do me a disservice. They do the other people at that table a disservice. So guys, what I'm saying is think about this in terms of your life, your personal life, your family, your friends, your work environment, whatever it may be. Are you leaving it on the table? Are you giving everybody your best? Because if you're not, I can promise you they know it. All right. There are so many opportunities that present themselves in our lives that, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas, and there's going to be times where maybe we have an opportunity come across and we're like, that looks really hard. That looks really tough. That looks scary. That looks uncertain, whatever it may be. And God, don't mistake this. I'm not saying to live haphazardly and reckless, but guys, go for the hard stuff. Go for the scary stuff. Go for the things that are going to push you, because I can promise you that whoever you believe created you, I don't care, but you are not created to live just a basic ass life. You are not created to just settle for complacency or settle for, just being average. Like, average sucks, guys. Like, that is literally the middle of the worst and the best of the best. Like, there's nothing to be proud of for average. All right. So when you have these opportunities, when you have these chances that you can jump and you can leap and you can dive into something, go for it. Give it the shot. What's the worst that happens? You become a little bit better. You learn a lesson. You become more equipped to handle adversity next time. Or maybe it opens up an opportunity that you were literally destined to be in. That your creator, your God, that's what they designed you for. Right then, right there, at that moment, with those people, in that environment, that's where you were designed to be. And when you get to do that, guys, when you get those experiences, man, that is rewarding. It's not something that happens to me all the time, but there are situations that I get in that I just sit and think, I'm like, how in the world did this line up like this? How did I know to call this person at this time and talk to them about something that they were, unbeknownst to me, going through, that they needed some encouragement on, that they needed some advice or guidance on? Guys, there's a much bigger plan and picture to this life that we get to live. And I can promise you that if you're not giving it everything you got, you are selling yourself short. So whether you come from a background of a family that was very successful or a background of a family that was completely dysfunctional, you have something to prove. All right. If you come from the background of a dysfunctional family that, just lived half-assed, lived mediocre, whatever it was, you owe it to them to show them what was possible, what they could have done. Right? You owe it to them to make sure that you live the best life that you can possibly live, that you leave it all on the table, that you push as hard as you can push and enjoy the life that you're building. This isn't to say that you need to work 18, 20-hour days to try and do this shit. It's just saying leave it all on the table. If your work days are 8-hour days, 8 to 5 with a 1-hour lunch break, whatever it may be, give 8 hours of work. Give it hard. And part of that work is building the relationships with the people you're in. Care about them. Show them that you care. Be interested in their lives, whatever it may be. put it all out there, because what's going to happen? What's the worst that happens? Somebody says thank you. Somebody says they appreciate you. Someone asks you for guidance, advice, encouragement, whatever it may be that you have to offer. Is that the worst that happens? That's not too bad of a problem, right? And say you come from a family that was very well off, very successful. You owe it to them to show them that you can do it too, that you're not going to ride on their coattail, that you're not going to take the trust, the inheritance, or whatever it is and just live a gravy life. They worked their butts off to be able to provide you the life that you get to live with them. Now it's your turn to do that. It's your obligation to continue that legacy, to continue that journey. And if you don't, you are doing them a disservice, because one day they're going to die. All right. They're going to be laying on their deathbed and they're going to say, man, I just wish Joe would have been able to just take what I taught him and tried a little harder. I just wish I could have gotten through to Sue a little bit more. I just wish, Jenny would have, just taken my advice I gave her to love a little harder, even in the hard times. And it's just, you owe it to these people, guys. This life that we live, I know I mentioned it on the last episode about, that we've been kind of trained essentially to over the last couple of years that we're supposed to live in isolation and quarantine and social distance and all this bullshit that is absolutely irrelevant to how we were designed to live as human beings. And guys, you owe it to the people around you. You owe it to your family, your friends, your kids, your peers, your coworkers, whatever it may be, the people who watch you on a screen that may not even know you. You owe it to the people in your life to give it all you got, to leave it all on the table. So that's my advice for you today. Is you're listening to this on a Saturday morning, if you're listening to it live, or if you're just listening to it on a replay, I don't really care. I just hope that you can take from this message and you can find one thing in your life that you're not giving it everything you got, that that you could do a little bit more, that you could give a little bit more of yourself to. Because I've got a lot of things. I got a lot of things that I know that I can give a little bit more to, that I can push a little bit harder on, that I can take a little bit bigger of a risk with. And I owe it to the people who count on me, who believe in me. All right. And then all this comes together because it comes full circle, because one day when you are laying on your deathbed, when and wherever that may be, God willing, it's a long time from now and you got a lot of life left to live. But when that time comes, because it will, if you can look back at your life and say that you left it all on the table, you don't owe yourself anything at that point. You gave it everything you got. You can go out of this life that we've been given to live here on this earth. You can go out of it knowing that my tank is empty. I didn't leave any in the tank. I didn't just put it on, coast and cruise control just in case. And then all of a sudden you go to the grave with half a tank of gas left in you. So owe it to yourself, pay it to yourself, give it all you've got, because this is the only shot you get. All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this message. I'm sorry if I was a little bit fired up. Like I said, I just left the gym. I'm in the truck, nobody around me to distract my thoughts. And well, this is what you get. So you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, anything like that, I am always open to it. And I will plan on seeing you guys on